The UK must cut its global environmental footprint by 75% by 2030, according to a new report by the World Wildlife Fund, the WWF. Joining us now, Mark Wright, Director of Science at the Worldwide Fund for Nature. Mark, great to have you on the programme this morning. Explain exactly what this means for the UK. If we suggest that we need to see our environmental footprint cut by 75%, what sort of world will we be living in?
OK, well, let's remember why we're asking for this in the first place. And it's quite clear that all the things we buy, the food we eat, are fueling the loss of nature and also increasing the risk of climate change. So clearly something has to be done. And so we're calling for a three-quarter slashing of our footprint. Let's remember, this is just what's happening in the UK. It's also kind of factors in the things we import from overseas as well, the food we bring from overseas, the clothes, the cars, and so on. But what the report also says is basically speaking, there's a lot of flexibility in the system. We can make those changes. There's really substantial changes without massively impacting our lives. So don't forget, the government has already committed to a 78% reduction in greenhouse gases. So these things are perfectly doable. And actually, the economy could benefit as a result as well.
Give us some examples of those, Mark, because frankly, it will be music to everyone's ears if we can make those type of gains in terms of our environmental impact without there being a corresponding and equally significant effect on, well, frankly, let's be selfish about it, our own lives.
OK, well, let's use food, because we know that food is a real driver for losses around the world. So in this country, it might be a surprise to hear that we waste about 10 million tonnes of food and drink every single year, 10 million tonnes. So just think about what it costs to produce that in terms of time, resources, processing, transport, and so on. So it's horrifying that we waste 10 million tonnes, but 70% of that is perfectly edible. So if we could kind of rework the system so that we're not kind of throwing this stuff away. And of course, that 30% that is non-edible for us is edible for plenty of other things, for example, insects. And there are really good systems up and running already that take food waste, feed it to insects, and then we feed those insects to chickens rather than giving them soy, which came from Latin America, and it was produced by cutting down rainforest and clearing grasslands and so on. So there's a real win-win situations there.
What are the consequences? What are the potential consequences that would follow from us not being so ambitious in our targets to reduce our environmental impact?
Well, I think the images you're showing here show us the impacts. And in these last couple of years, we've seen just extraordinary outbursts of fires around the world. The horrible fires we're seeing in British Columbia at the moment. Cyprus I saw yesterday, but Siberia, Amazon, Australia, we're seeing these extreme weather events. Those will become the norm, sadly. And we know that we're losing species around the world as well. And don't forget, since 1900, 500 types of vertebrates have gone extinct. So these are animals no one will ever see again. And those risks will increase as if we don't take action now.
Mark Wright, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being with us.